everybody. Welcome back to the You Don't Understand podcast. So, for today's episode, we wanted to continue our discussions on spirituality. And this time, I wanted to ask my mom questions about her perspective and how spirituality kind of helped her, especially in terms of our relationship and then our dynamic as a family as a whole. So, I'll start off the discussion today by asking you this question, Ma. I know we discussed how spirituality helped me be more aware about myself, my own decisions, be more conscious about my decisions, and how I was affecting the people around me and myself. Now, turning it over to you, how did spirituality affect your relationship with me and just honestly your life in general?
Yeah, so I guess spirituality, it is such a big word now. Everybody is kind of talking and becoming aware of it. But what is spirituality to even begin with? In the very, very normal, basic senses that you recognize the spirit within you, and then everything that you do um, in your daily life, for yourself or for the people around, whatever you try to do, you do it with the conscious effort of identifying with that spirit and then expressing it, that as a spirit, what would you express in the world? Not as an identity as Jyoti Lal, as me, but the spirit which has no identity. It is just a spirit, it's just an energy. As an energy, how do I see the world? If energy had just eyes on it, and ears on it, how would that energy express in the world through the eyes and the ears and the mouth? So I started bringing a very big shift in my awareness that um, I started identifying more with my spirit. So when you start identifying more with your spirit, your energy aspect, so from spirit, you become spiritual in your outlook. The more you connect to your spirit, that's how you're more expressive, or you're expressing spirituality in the world. So the word is spirit, that's very important. And how, as a human being, we have the privilege to be able to even be conscious, to understand the consciousness. An animal cannot understand these things, but a human being has the blessing and the capability to consciously understand the consciousness and identify the consciousness, and then live your daily life with the awareness that you are consciousness. you know that's the shift that I started bringing within me. When I started looking at life in that perspective, then actually that lens changed pretty much everything that I was looking around in the world. Because now if I'm hurt, I'm constantly questioning, why am I hurt? Who is this person who's getting hurt? Because if I am the spirit, then spirit doesn't get hurt. So then where is this all emotions coming from? So I started becoming more of my emotions. I started becoming more aware of my emotions, and how I'm reacting with those emotions in the world, like that the constant cause and effect going on. But now I was becoming more conscious about the cause and effect. And then I started realizing that actually the cause is not outside, the cause is within me. I am the cause for everything that is happening to me. I cannot blame you, or I cannot blame the world. I cannot blame the circumstances, because everything is a byproduct of what I am projecting in the world. If I am only going to project love and compassion, then that's exactly what I'm going to create around me, because that's what I'm sending out in the world. So then the focus started shifting from the fact that if I am the one, the cause for whatever is happening around me, in whichever way life is bringing those situations to me, then what is it that I need to change within me? you know, because somewhere this change has to happen within me, because I need to do something about it, but within me, not outside world. The basic understanding is that we always try to blame others, that oh, because that person said this, I did this, or oh, because that happened, that's why I did this. But that's not what was happening. I really realized that I am the creator of my own life. And of course, the karma part of it, that's too deep. But even to have this simple basic understanding, that I dive deeper, and then that conversation that we had on the couch with your therapist, and when I saw, or I understood, that whatever I was projecting was not getting received the way I thought it was getting received. The receiver was receiving in his or her own capacity. So then that was a turning point, not just practically also, that I need to see the world from your lens, and then I need to see what I can do to fit into that lens. That was a practical aspect of it. But then the spiritual part of it was that in my head, as Jyoti Lal, the mother, was doing amazing. But I'm not getting perceived in that way, because my perception is very limited. I'm not even taking into account what I'm really projecting in the world. And then it was my journey again, like, okay, if I am taking the ownership of Jyoti Lal, the mother of Diksha Krishna, is amazing. She's doing so many sacrifices, she's doing this, she's doing that. And then I'm like, well, but Jyoti Lal is not doing anything, because she's just outright, my daughter just told me that how it's not the best thing, it's not enough. Then what am I taking the ownership and pride about in my own head, you know? So then I said, okay, this is an amazing opportunity. As much as the mother in me is getting affected by seeing that her daughter is in this space or in this situation and going through such difficult times, but then the mother in me also is beginning to realize that she's not the mother. Mother is just a role that I'm playing. I am here as a spirit, as an energy body in this energy body's existence. What is my role? What is my role as an energy? Because there is an energy exchange basically. Now, I'm not seeing you as Diksha Krishna, I'm not seeing myself as Jyoti Lal. I'm looking at two energy bodies who have decided to come together and experience this life on earth together.
Mhm.
It is not about I am the mother and it is I who's going to decide where you will go, what you will do, what you will eat, how you will dress. That I is the one that is the problem here, because I am taking the ownership of it. I am being given the responsibility by Diksha's energy, but I am not the owner of this energy.
Mhm.
I am just a felicitator. I'm just a companion that this energy has chosen, not I have chosen more so. This energy has chosen, right? So it's together, us coming together. So then that shift happened. And of course, nowadays we hear all these things, and Sadhguru has this very famous quote that your children are born through you, not to you, you know. Of course, I had learned this lesson early on in life, but that is very true. I mean, that I guess that is the hardest part for a parent to understand and let go their children, in that sense that you don't have to let go the children, you just have to let go the ownership of your children. That I own my child, I don't own my child. That is an energy body that is decided to come into a human form and experience human being and this earth, no? So how can I own you? I don't own you.
Mhm.
So then, when I mentioned in one of the podcasts that you were my weak point in my life because you are like that parrot in my life that you want to harm the king, you harm the parrot. Where was that coming from? Because I thought I put all my life into you, but that's my wrong understanding. And I cannot put the burden of my wrong understanding on a 17-year or a 16-year-old body's shoulder. That's very unfair, very unfair.
Yeah.
So that's when the things started shifting for me. So, first was to understand that I don't have any ownership. So, it went in stages. First was to become aware that I am a spirit in a human body and having a human experience. Then, the understanding that if I'm a spirit, then I don't even own this body because the day I decide to leave this body, I leave.
Mhm.
So I don't even own this body. How can I even own my daughter or my son or my husband or this and that? And nothing belongs to me then. I'm just here to have a beautiful human experience.
Mhm.
And all these other humans who have come in my life are also here to have a human experience. And what is the point in having a human experience individually? Why don't we all come together and have a beautiful human experience?
Mhm.
So, having the understanding that you are one unit, but when you are very clear about the fact that you are an individual unit, but you have come here to be united and have a human experience in a very united way,
Mhm.
then you become, as Mohanji has this very famous thing that he mentions, that from unit, you become the universe.
Mhm.
And that is the transition that happened, that I was aware of me being an individual unit. I don't own anything. I'm here with all these beautiful units to become the universe.
Mhm.
And I'm here to experience this universe as a unit.
Mhm.
So, so that layering and that ownership of my identity, that Jyoti Lal means something in this world, and then Jyoti Lal husband has to be a certain way, and Jyoti Lal has to be a certain way. All those things started breaking,
Mhm.
and I was able to see you, my daughter, who's come as my daughter in this lifetime, but I I was able to see you also as an individual unit.
Mhm.
And then the biggest change happened was that I realized that I'm like a lighthouse in your life. I am standing my ground, and you are a maneuvering ship. Wherever you have to go, you will go.
Mhm.
I just have to be that guiding factor in your life, not the owning factor of your life. Then I started bringing those changes that I should be able to stabilize as me, the person that I am, and become the guiding factor in your life or in Adi's life or my friend's life, in everybody's life. But I'm not saying that, oh, you have to look at me. No, my job is to be that lighthouse and stand wherever I am.
Mhm.
Whoever needs to take from it will take it.
Yeah. So I remember when you started implementing this philosophy and thought process into our relationship. And the first thing that you did was really let go. Like really just, we had I just remember, I think I talked about this last episode too. Like we were in the guest room and you basically were like, you're on your own, do whatever you want to do. Um, and originally that caused, a lot of clash between me and you because all my fears and insecurities that I had been feeling for so many years of, oh, she's like a abandonment or trust issues or whatever. Like I thought you letting go was you giving up on us trying to work on our relationship and you were done. Um, so talk me through that entire time. Like, do you looking back, do you still think the way you handled the whole process of letting go was the right way, or do you think you could have been any different about it? Because
You
I
know what? I think
do.
it will make more sense for me to have you talk because you were most affected by it.
Hmm.
Once the viewer can see that through that process, how you viewed the situation and how it impacted you and how you maneuvered through it, then I can give you my perspective because that will answer your question whether it was the good way or the bad way. Because I did what I did, right?
Hmm.
But the person who's in on the receive, because again, you were on the receiving end of my decision. I took the decision. I just because it was my realization, I took the decision. But then again, I'm taking the decision based on the fact that I think that this is the best thing or this is the right thing to do. But then, did it really happen the right way
Hmm.
eventually? So, I think it would make more sense if you tell what how did you handle it? What were your emotions? Because that was a turning point in your and my relationship.
Hmm.
That was a turning point in your and my relationship.
Yeah.
I can sit here and say that, yeah, I did this and I did that, but I think you should be the one telling because you were the one who got impacted in
Hmm.
a very different way. And let's see how far you have come with it.
Well, I mean, I de definitely can say that back then it was a
I just want to
very,
interrupt. Is the volume little low on your end? Because I'm not able to hear today very clearly.
no, I can hear perfectly.
Okay, then maybe it's my old ears then.
But
Yes.
yeah, I can definitely say that back then it was, I think because spirituality isn't something that like was very foreign in our family, right? Growing up, all I heard was, oh, I can't wait till you and Adi are old enough and I can just leave and, go on my own journey and go on all these like, pilgrimages or whatever it is. And so that instilled a very deep fear of abandonment in me. Because in my head, I was like, okay, I have till I'm 18, and then boom, done. Relationship done. No more mother. Like she's gone. I'll probably never see her again. So I have these 18 years. As it is, within these 18 years, half of them we've spent fighting and arguing and, just butting heads with each other. So it's like, okay, like I'm really on borrowed time here. And at the age of 16, in the middle of COVID, you have this profound spiritual awakening. And in my head, I'm like, oh, I thought I had 2 more years left. What do you mean she's ready to dip now? Like I was like, wait, pause, like, stop the brakes. Like, what is going on here? So for me, when we had that conversation and you were like, it's time for me to I still remember you kept using that like kick the bird out of the nest analogy, and I was like, stop talking. Like, I don't want to hear it anymore. But after, having that conversation, that was the first thing that went in my head. It's like, oh, like every single fear that I'm not gonna have a mother anymore, that, you know, we're not gonna have a relationship, whatever, whatever, like all that's starting to come true. And in that moment, I was like, okay, so then what have I been wasting my time on trying to fix a relationship with someone who still is trying to dip and or is trying to dip now? Like, let alone I thought I had 2 years. She's trying to go now. So I that was my first initial, perspective and reaction. And then from that, I like I don't exactly remember at what point I started to, or we both started to come around. I think we both started to come around again when I moved out. I think that's because, you know, you talk about a lot of things. You talk about, oh, like it's not going to change anything, or oh, we'll evolve in our relationship. But you don't really get to see that evolution like in action until, something like genuinely happens. Was like, especially in our situation when there was actual distance. Because up in this until this point, you had never left the house per se. And in those 2 years between 16 to 18, when I finally graduated, there was definitely still a lot of back and forth. We were still butting heads.
I think in between I had to go to India with Nani to settle her in 2021. And
Yes.
that was the first time I left the house with you, Dada, and Adi.
Hmm.
And you three were left alone in a larger span of time, like almost for 2 months. And I still remember when I was in India and you had these depressive episodes, and you would call me in the middle of the night, and you would cry and bawl your eyes out and constantly crying and talking and talking. But as much as I think that was my time to let go. You know why? Because I was like, I have to let you have your experience.
Hmm.
You have to experience your life on your own, because unless and until I let you have your own experiences, you will not understand what I'm trying to tell. It's like theory.
Hmm.
Whatever I'm trying to say is theory. But when you are put in a situation where I'm not there, but I'm still there, how can I explain that thing to you unless until you experience that no matter wherever I am in the world, I will always be your mom and you'll always have a mom.
Hmm.
But your mom doesn't need to sit in the house to be your mom anymore.
I think
That
that's
is,
when you
yeah,
had that realization. I think for me, those couple months where you were in India, I think I was just going through so much in my own head. And I honestly, I'll be the first to admit, I just don't think I was spiritually mature enough to really understand what was going on in that moment. For me, it was when I moved out, when like I was the one putting the distance between the two of us. And I could really see in action the idea that, yes, you know, we are two individuals on two individual journeys. We both have our own spirituality that we practice, that we preach, that we are living through and breathing every single day. But that still doesn't take away from the fact that you are my mom and I am your daughter. And then even on just a spiritual level, you are a soul and I'm a soul, and we have some karmic connection that keeps us in touch with each other thus far. Um, and so honestly, it came down to time. It came down to me taking the decision to like I guess this is like a little hypocritical of me to say, but it took me taking charge of my own life for me to finally realize that like you were not going anywhere, which is basically what you wanted me to do in the first place. So I guess you got what you wanted, but um yeah, for me the pivotal moment was moving out because it gave me the perspective that like we would still be fine. Like and even within that, I mean, our relationship as mother and daughter has evolved over time, but it still gives me that security that like, even if it's just you as a soul and not you as like Jyoti Lal or you as my mother, even if it's just you as a soul, you're still there. You're still someone I can or a someone I can seek guidance from, someone I can fall back from or fall back on. And I know I'm that way in your life as well.
yes, I guess that's what it was. Now going back to answering your question, and the the putting the out of the nest, the bird out of the nest theory. So that's what it was, because all my life I was protective, and at what point I became overprotective, so much so that I overshadowed you. And what am I doing then? Because my job as a mother, you entrusted that job as a mother in me so that I can make your wings stronger while I'm nurturing you. And then when the time comes, I should have the mind and the heart to let you go to fly on your own. So, my job as a mother was to prepare you to be able to fly on your own, not hold you down with my own insecurities and not let you even fly,
Mm-hmm.
because I have not prepared you to fly. I have overshadowed you all your life in the name of, because I'm worried about you, I love you so much, and my own insecurities, that I never let your wings get stronger. And I never let you practice your wings to fly unless and until I give you that opportunity. And then once I see that no, her wings are very strong, she can fly, then that is my security, right? In
Mm-hmm.
the end, you will fly no matter what. You're not going to be in my nest forever.
Yeah.
That is a reality. So I was living in a false illusion of clinging on to you because of my own insecurities and attachments.
Mm-hmm.
But then that is what the journey was for me spiritually, to realize that I don't belong to my own self, also, like my spirit does not belong to this body, also.
Mm-hmm.
So, what can I own in this world? Nothing.
Yeah.
I'm here to have experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm here to have experiences, how can I snatch away those experiences from you?
Mm-hmm.
And unless and until I let you have your own experiences completely free of my thought process and letting you be you, whatever that authentic you are,
Mm-hmm.
how will I even know who you are? Because I don't know.
Yeah.
So it was it was a very turmoil period,
Yeah.
very, very, very difficult. But I think if you look at it as a learning, then I think it was the most important learning I had when, as far as the relationship is concerned, because it's not just about mother-daughter relationship, it's about relationship in general, relationship of you in the world or with the world, and then as a spirit, your relationship with your own body and mind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, in layers. So first is the outside projected world. And then when I went little more deeper, then it was my own relationship with this body and mind.
Mm-hmm.
And when I understood that, then everything started flowing. And it was easier for me to understand you,
Mm-hmm.
because now I'm not judging you as my daughter. Like, how can you say such words to me? You are so mean to me. You remember one day you were so mad at me and you literally called me like, you bitch, and this and that, and you just walked and slammed your door.
I was just
If it,
thinking about that. It was
you were?
yes, I was literally thinking about that. It was Garba, and I don't know what we were arguing about. I remember I was wearing my lehenga. I stormed down the stairs and I was like, "You," and then I like cussed you out, and then I went back upstairs. And then after Garba, I was like, "I'm sorry."
So, if I would have been just your mother, I would be furious. Like, how dare you even talk to me like that, right? But I wasn't furious. I had no problems hearing that word from you, because I knew that your spirit is not saying those words,
Hmm.
because I was looking at your spirit. As a spirit, as a soul, you're very pure. Every soul is very pure. I would say that anyone who's being very bad on this earth through their actions,
Hmm.
but as spirit and soul, they're very pure. Why is it that they are doing these actions? Is because they have a very non understanding of their existence.
Hmm.
They are very deep rooted in their identity, and that's why they're being reactive. They're not looking at the situation from an objective perspective and respond to the experience that is happening,
Yeah.
right? So when you went, Adi was standing there, and Adi always, right? He never speaks. But when it comes to you, he stands like I am the what do you call, the soldier or the commander to make sure that my sister is safe. And then he's like, "Why did you have to do that to her? Like, this." I said, "Adi, stay out of it. You don't need to get into it because you don't know what I'm doing in this moment. Because now." I am coming from a very different space, a very different headspace, which might be misunderstood by many, but eventually they will understand once I give them that space. So, yeah, I mean, that was like, but that was a good turning point in my journey also, because not turning point, but my own things to see how I'm also progressing
Mm-hmm.
from being that mother who would be so furious. I would have probably come and banged at your door, and I would have seen you out, and then I was like, how dare you? Like, that's how I would have been. And here I am just standing there, and I'm like, that's fine. It's okay. I understand. She's mad. She doesn't really mean it. She'll come turn around. I don't have to react right now because my ego is not hurt. There is no ego to get hurt anymore because there is no Jyoti Lal the mother here. It's the Jyoti Lal the mother who's realized that in this moment also karmically these two souls are having a karmic exchange right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I applied that awareness to it. So yeah, I mean, things definitely started evolving. And as you said that when you went out of the house, I would say it's not just about out of the house. I guess out of the house was your realization period.
Mm-hmm.
But you being able to start getting a glimpse of how I am there with you if you need me, but you were beginning to take small, small steps of your own freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you exercise the freedom in the wrong way also.
No comment. No comment.
No, but I think you should talk about it because that can all because that is a very important, very big fear parents have. It's
Yes.
not that they don't want to give child the freedom, but they are so scared because the child might just misuse the freedom, and those are such formative years of the child. The parent does not know how much freedom to give, how much not to give, and it's a very confusing state for parents also.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, my spiritual understanding helped me that let go,
Yeah.
surrender,
Mm-hmm.
flow. That is what I was doing. I wasn't letting go that, oh, go to hell, I don't care about you. That's not what the let go was. My let go was that don't cling on to her, let her fly. Let her fly, let her fall couple of times. That's only when she will know the strength of her own wings. My job was to make sure that your wings are healthy, they are fed well, they are taken care well, they are given enough space to grow enough. But then at some point, you have to fly and fall and have your own experiences and learn from them. And while you are taking that flight, I'm always right next to you when you need me.
Mm-hmm.
What people think is letting go means, oh, that's it. Like as you thought as a child that my mom has abandoned me,
Mm-hmm.
and a parent might be like, you know what, oh, go to hell, I don't care because I'm done, I've had enough of you. That's not what this is. The karmic relationship between a child and a parent is that parent's job is to protect the child, give the child space to have its own wings, nurture the child so that it's a nice healthy person, mentally they are stable enough to handle their emotions. And when the child is ready to take the flight, the parent flies with the child,
Mm-hmm.
but letting the child decide in which direction the child wants to fly.
Yeah. Well, I think for next week's episode, we can definitely talk about how I misuse my freedom. Um, you can
I
put me on the
definitely
hot
want to talk about
We can put
it.
me on the hot seat. We can talk about it. I know it's been a minute coming, so we'll definitely talk about it. But yeah, I think this is a good place to stop for today's episode. Like always, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Any video ideas or just any feedback that you guys have for us, we would love to hear more from our viewers. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this week's episode. We were so happy to share this discussion with you guys. I feel like today's episode was a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more like it wasn't too deep, you know?
It was actually very deep, but I guess now you and me are at a space where we don't have to pretend or feel unsafe of being ourselves.
Yeah.
And I guess that is a best space to be in, where that is your safe space where you
Mhm.
can be yourself, you know. So, anyways, thank you so much, Diksha Krishna,
Thank you,
for
Mama.
being a part of this journey and for being a part of my life journey, because I've learned a lot through my journey with you. And I can only say that I've evolved into being a better human being.
Hmm.
And I cherish that journey with you, you know. So, thank you. And yes, looking forward to the next week's podcast.
Yes. Bye, everybody.
Bye.